From the heart of Doha came the midnight strike. Israel hit Hamas in the Qatar light. 6 confirmed dead, but the leaders survive, while diplomacy crumbles and peace talks die. Trump calls it wrong, says it won't advance America's goals in this deadly dance. Qatar stands firm as the mediator still, but the prospects for peace are going downhill. The world keeps turning while the headlines burn. From Gaza's pain to Nepal's concern, every strike and every vote shapes the future that we wrote. The world keeps turning, can't look away from the stories breaking today. In Nepal streets the anger rose, corruption's grip that everyone knows. 22 dead in the protest fight, Parliament burning in the night. PM Ali stepped down from his throne as the people's fury found its own. Decades of greed finally met its match when the social media fire caught. The world keeps turning while the headlines burn. From Gaza's pain to Nepal's concern, every strike and every vote shapes the future that we wrote. The world keeps turning, can't look away from the stories breaking today. Elizabeth Tsurkov finally came home after years held captive, no longer alone. From Iraq's militia to the embassy door, Trump announced what we'd been waiting for. In Virginia's race, Walkinshaw won the seat. Democrat victory, Republican defeat. While Epstein's shadow haunts the White House still, and foreign aid frozen by presidential will. Heart to Doha streets, every story that repeats the cost of power, price of peace. When will all this fighting cease? The world keeps turning, the news won't wait for better days or a kinder fate. We sing these stories, we bear witness true to the world that's breaking through.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Tuesday Evening News Roundup. It's been an absolutely explosive day in international affairs, and I mean that quite literally. The biggest story breaking tonight centers on a dramatic Israeli airstrike that hit right in the heart of Doha, Qatar, targeting Hamas leadership in what can only be described as a bold and controversial move. Now, Hamas is claiming that their top leaders survived this attack, though they've confirmed 6 deaths. What makes this particularly significant is that Qatar has been serving as the key mediator in Gaza ceasefire talks, and this strike essentially happened on their doorstep. President Trump has already weighed in, saying the strike doesn't advance Israel or America's goals, which is pretty remarkable language from someone who's generally been supportive of Israeli military actions. Meanwhile, we're seeing massive unrest in Nepal that's reaching a boiling point. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has resigned after what's being described as Nepal's worst civil unrest in decades. We're talking about protesters literally setting parliament on fire. And this isn't hyperbole, the building was actually burning. At least 22 people have died in these clashes, and it's all stemming from years of pent-up anger against a political elite that many Nepalis see as corrupt and completely out of touch. The protests were largely organized through social media, showing once again how digital platforms are reshaping political movements worldwide. In some positive news, we finally have closure on a story that's been heartbreaking to follow. Elizabeth Tsurkov, the Princeton student and Israeli-Russian dual citizen who was kidnapped in Iraq back in 2023, has finally been released. Trump announced that she's been moved to the U.S. Embassy in Iraq, ending what must have been an absolute nightmare for her and her family. She was being held by an Iran-backed militia, and her release likely involved some complex diplomatic negotiations behind the scenes. Switching to domestic politics, we saw Democrat James Walkinshaw win a special House election in Virginia, which is significant because it shrinks the Republican majority in the chamber. Walkinshaw will be filling the seat left vacant by the death of Gerald Connolly, who was actually his former boss, so there's some continuity there. And we can't ignore the elephant in the room. More Epstein-related revelations are continuing to complicate Trump's denials about his relationship with the convicted trafficker. This story just won't go away, and it's creating some uncomfortable moments for Republicans who are trying to defend the president while also distancing themselves from anything Epstein-related. That's your evening news digest. Stay safe out there, folks.